This video is going to review how to make an assignment for students in Schoology. So you can use the test quiz as an assignment, but if you want something more open-ended, something where you have some questions you want students to answer, and then maybe you type some comments, or maybe you've got kind of like a worksheet situation going where you want to leave comments, or maybe you have an essay you want to assign, or maybe you want them to upload a video they made, or a picture, or a Word document, or something like that. This can be a good place to do it. Okay, so we're going to go to Add Materials and then Add Assignment. There are two ways to use this particular tool. Okay, this is the first way. This is sort of like a Dropbox. Now, keep in mind that when you use the assignment type of tool, you are basically creating a place for students to turn something into you online, to turn something into you through Schoology. So that's what the assignment piece is. So it's different than like a test or a quiz. A test or a quiz, they fill out and hit submit, and then Schoology grades it. But the assignment piece is almost like a Dropbox. It's like a place where students can actually submit something to you. So, assignment number 1. Here's where you can type instructions for the students, tell them what they're supposed to be doing. You can do a lot of stuff in this space. There's lots of options for adding pictures and links, and maybe even a YouTube video, or you can just type some text. And then you can give it a due date. If you give it a due date, then you can decide whether, down here with the lock icon, whether you want the assignment to lock on a certain date, so stop accepting submissions on a certain date, or not. It just depends on what your late policy is. Category, you're going to have to choose a grading category. And if you don't have grading categories in here, you can just create a new one on the fly. Maybe this is just a homework assignment. You can also leave it ungraded, but just keep in mind that even if you grade it in Schoology, it doesn't automatically kick over to Progress Book. You don't have to worry about what you create in here automatically being sent to Progress Book at this point in time. The way the whole Progress Book piece works is you decide what and when specific assignments kick over to Progress Book. So it just doesn't happen automatically without you knowing it. Okay, so choose a grading category. And everything else should be good to go. So I've just created this assignment. Now, what does this look on the student side? Okay, so what does this look like on the student side? So I just have a window here where I am logged in as a student. So as a student, I see assignment number 1. As a student, I can click on it. I can read any instructions or things that you posted here, and then I can go over here to this Submit Assignment button. I can click on Submit Assignment, and I've got a couple of options. I can upload something. So let's say I have a file on my computer, like a Word document, or maybe I have a picture on my computer, or maybe I have a PowerPoint of some kind. I can upload it there. I can also use this video recording button to record myself answering whatever question my teacher wanted me to answer. If I want to just type up something, maybe I don't have something already typed up that I can upload, if I just want to type something here in the Schoology window, I can hit create, and now I have this sort of blank space where I can type my response. Hello, here is my response as a student. So I can just type my response right in the Schoology window. And as a student, I have all these rich text formatting tools. If I want to bold things, change color, and I could even upload pictures. I can link stuff. Maybe my teacher asked students to find an interesting video on prepositions. If I found one, I could link it. Or I could probably even, if I have YouTube app set up, I could probably tap into YouTube and search for videos there. And then just go from there. So this is just a blank space for students. So I would have students use either the Upload or the Create tab to submit assignments. The Resources tab I'm not going to get into too much right now, but I think these first two tabs will be the most useful. So as a student, once I've got my assignment all ready to go, I just hit Submit. This shows me, as a student, that I have submitted my assignment, and I can resubmit this assignment up until the due date, and depending on whether the teacher locks the assignment on the due date or allows late submissions, I can keep resubmitting this assignment for as long as needed. Okay, so that is the student side of things. As the teacher then, let me refresh my screen. I will see that I have an ungraded assignment. There's a couple of different ways I can look at this ungraded assignment. I can click here, and then it'll show me all the different types of assignments I have that I need to grade. I can click and I can go right into this assignment, and I will see hopefully, if all students submitted, a big long list of assignments here. The other way to look at ungraded assignments is to just go into the assignment, and then I get the same area. Two different ways to get to the same area. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the student, and then I'm going to see what the student typed up or uploaded. Remember, I uploaded a Word doc, which looks like my syllabus for my online class through Akron, and then I could even annotate that from here if I wanted to. As the teacher, I could leave comments and things like that. Highlight things. I think this is a sticky note. Yeah, kind of a thing. Oh, it's like suggestions for editing. So yeah, I could annotate that, give the student a grade, leave a comment, and then the student would see that. So I just showed you one way to use the assignment piece as kind of like a Dropbox. The other way to use the assignment piece is you can use it sort of like in tandem with Google Docs. So I'm going to go to Add Materials, Add Assignment. Assignment number 2. All right, so again, directions go here, and this type of assignment is we're going to use this Google Drive button. You can use the OneDrive button as well, but I think most people use Google, so I'm just going to use this example with Google. So what this is going to do is it's going to let me attach a Google Doc that I have in my Google Drive, and as students access the assignment, it's going to make a copy of my Google Doc for each individual student in my class. So each individual student will have his own copy of my Google Doc that he and I share. So this is a nice way to have little one-on-one assignments with students where the Google Doc isn't shared with the whole class, only you and the student can see the Google Doc. I personally use this for essays when I have my students type essays for my class. But you need to have a Google Doc in place first. So let's say that you have a Google Doc that's a worksheet of some kind. It's like a worksheet. You can either create one, or if you have one already. So here's an example of maybe an assignment I have in Google Docs. If you want students to write an essay, then this area would just be blank. It would just be a blank space for students to write their essays. Or maybe you would just have the essay prompt at the top. Or maybe you would just have a question that you want them to answer. This is like a little chart that I want them to fill out. So I've got the name of this assignment. I'm just going to copy that so it's easier for me to find. So if I've got my Google Doc in place, which is basically my template, and I'm going to go down to, this is my assignment number 2, Google Drive Assignments. I'm going to click here and I'm going to link that template to this assignment. So I'm just going to search for that assignment by name. There it is, and attach. There's my Google Doc assignment. Alright, so I can give it a due date if I want, or just leave it open-ended. I'm going to call this homework, and I'm going to create. Now, remember what this assignment looked like without attaching that Google Doc piece? So when I created this assignment, this is what it looks like. All right, for students, this is what it looks like. But when I attach that Google Doc, when I introduce that Google Doc piece, it looks totally different. So assignment number 2, now it looks like this. So this is the teacher view, and the student view looks a little bit similar. There's my instructions. So what the students are going to do is they're going to click on My Document. This will trigger that copy. Remember I said each student will get his or her own each individual assignment. And there it goes. So what it did was it created a copy of that assignment for my student, and now my student can type in it. If your student is not logged into his or her Google Drive, it will prompt them to do so. But once they're logged in, they can now complete the assignment. My name is student, birthstone is aquamarine, my favorite food is mac and cheese. So then the student can complete this assignment. What does this look on the teacher's side? Teachers can click on progress. They'll see all of their students. And then the ones who are working on the assignment, they will be able to see. So there's my student. There's the answers my student typed in. I like this for feedback because as a teacher I can come in here and say, like, hey, that's my favorite food too. And on the student side, you can see everything. It's just a Google Doc. When students are finished, they will submit assignment. Once they submit assignment and the due date has passed, they will lose editing rights. All right, see that happen because they just submitted it. And like I said, when they submit the assignment, they lose editing access. So they can't keep editing it after they've submitted it. But they can, if the due date hasn't passed yet, the student can unsubmit it and then continue editing.